We are honored to welcome each of you to the Gurukulplex presentation dedicated to the life and literary genius of one of the greatest poets in the English language, John Milton. John Milton, a name that resonates through the corridors of literary history, is celebrated for his profound contributions to poetry, prose, and political thought during the 17th century.
John Milton was an iconic English poet and intellectual of the 17th century. He is principally renowned for his magnum opus, Paradise Lost, which reflects on themes such as transgression, seduction, and rescue. Milton was brought into the world in London in 1608, to a family that venerated knowledge and education. Through his life, Milton created works in multiple forms, comprising of poetry, literature and political writings. Even after he became afflicted with blindness later in life, Milton continued to write and ensure that his works were transcribed until his death in 1674. John Milton was born in London in 1608 and was already writing poetry from a young age. He was greatly inspired by the works of ancient Greeks and Romans as well as the works of contemporaries such as Edmund Spenser and William Shakespeare. His father, also named John Milton, gave him an excellent education that included attending St. Paul's School and Christ's College, Cambridge. Through his study and admiration of literature, Milton's poetic vision was crafted and this eventually established him as a legendary figure of English literature. John Milton was an iconic poet and writer whose works have had a profound effect on English literature. His career in literature lasted 4 decades, in which he wrote some of the most renowned poems, including L'Allegro and Il Penseroso. Milton composed his most famous piece, Paradise Lost, in blank verse and discussed intricate theological and philosophical ideas. Additionally, Milton was an affluent prose writer, composing works on a plethora of topics including divorce, press freedom, education, and religious tolerance. His essay, Areopagitica, is a well-known defense of free speech and is considered a prominent text of modern liberalism. John Milton is renowned for his outspoken views on politics. He argued that the public, rather than monarchs or aristocrats, should hold the power. He wrote extensively about his belief in republicanism, the most notable instance being in Areopagitica, where he declared that destroying a good book was equivalent to killing reason. Additionally, Milton was a formidable opponent of censorship and maintained that a healthy democracy required freedom of speech and freedom of expression. XYZ focuses on assisting businesses in attaining their goal clientele and improving customer contentment through a range of digital marketing methods. We recognize the significance of contemporary beliefs and how they influence an individual's choices, and that is why our services are adapted to suit the requirements of all our customers. Our squad of professionals diligently works to provide top-notch service and will endeavor to make sure all our customers have the optimal customer experience. John Milton is remembered for his influential writings, but his personal life was also marked by both joy and tragedy. He married 3 times, the first and second ending shortly after they were wed. His third marriage to Elizabeth Minchell proved to be lasting and brought him much happiness. Milton was a devoted father to his children, Anne, Deborah, and his son John. Later in life, he suffered from health issues including blindness, which he famously wrote about in his poem, On His Blindness. XYZ specializes in helping businesses craft messages that captivate their target audiences and build trust. Our expertise in content creation, social media management, and marketing strategy can help you tell your story and engage your customers in a meaningful way. We understand the importance of creating content that resonates with your audience and make it our goal to help you establish a meaningful dialogue. John Milton is renowned as one of the most celebrated English poets and writers in history. His writing has transcended the test of time and many of his works are considered literary masterpieces. His most acclaimed writing is the epic poem Paradise Lost, which details the fall of man from the Garden of Eden. However, Milton also composed many other works that are equally compelling. Paradise Regained, the sequel to Paradise Lost, follows the story of Jesus' temptations in the wilderness and showcases Milton's skill of painting powerful and dignified figures. Another essential work by Milton is the tragic play Samson Agonistes, based on the biblical story of Samson. Milton's brilliant use of poetic language and powerful structure helps bring the story to life. These works stand as examples of why Milton's writing is still studied and admired today. By focusing on kindness and compassion, we can work together to create positive change in the world. From Shakespeare to H.G. Wells, John Milton has inspired writers and thinkers for centuries. In the same way, we can each strive to make an impact on our society by demonstrating kindness and understanding. John Milton was a renowned English poet, commonly regarded as one of the greatest English language writers. While his literary works are celebrated, he was also a significant political figure, particularly for his promotion of republicanism. His ideas on self-government and individual autonomy highly impacted the American Revolution, inspiring many revolutionaries with his writings in support of republicanism. The most renowned of his works is Areopagitica, which is still praised for its endorsement of freedom of speech and press. John Milton was a renowned English poet, political activist, and scholar. His literary works, including the famed Paradise Lost and Areopagitica, remain some of the most lauded in the English language and have had considerable repercussions on literature, politics, and culture. His political efforts and his commitment to individual freedom and his defiance of censorship have had a profound effect on politics and its related movements. John Milton, an English poet and polemicist, explored the power of the human mind and its ability to shape our lives and experiences. This is perhaps most famously expressed in his work Paradise Lost, where he writes that, "The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven." Another of his notable works, the essay Areopagitica, calls for the right to know, utter, and argue freely according to conscience, a powerful reminder of the value of freedom of expression. Moving away from the words of John Milton himself, let us turn to visual aids to gain a deeper insight into his life and work. We have selected a range of visuals, including portraits, book covers and illustrations, to give us a greater understanding of the time period John Milton lived in, the people he associated with, and the literary and political movements that influenced his writing. By looking into these visuals, we can gain a more detailed knowledge of the great British poet. John Milton was renowned not only for his writing, but also for his musical ability. He greatly enjoyed playing the organ and writing music of his own. An even more intriguing aspect of Milton's life was his exchange of letters with the renowned Italian philosopher and scientist, Galileo Galilei. Through these conversations, they explored various topics of interest such as science, philosophy and theology. John Milton was a visionary whose works remain relevant. His advocacy for freedom of expression and Republican ideals continue to inspire many. From L'Allegro and Il Penseroso to Paradise Lost, Milton's writing has left an enduring mark on the literary world. His influence can be seen in the work of authors from the Romantics to modern scribes. We can honor his legacy by taking his ideals to heart and striving for a world of freedom and expression.